StrayAllDay.com.
You are now tuned in to the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, and the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there even when the success you've expected to achieve has yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative. That is the go-getter energy that moves any one of us, including yourself, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And then we put all this together to a series of frameworks, approaches, insights, strategies, and techniques and mindsets, all underneath the umbrella of one unifying philosophy that is called work on your game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic is why you don't need to work harder. Yes, you heard me correctly. Why you don't need to work harder. The host of a show that is called Work on Your Game is going to tell you why you don't need to work harder in today's episode. And listen closely, you'll understand exactly why and exactly what you should do instead of just thinking of ways that you can do more work. Now, before I get into that, let me tell everybody I have a daily motivation text that I send out every single day. I want you to receive that text. There's a lot going on in my text community. If you don't know about it, it's because you're not in it. But once you get in it, you'll know about it. So text me at the following number so that you can get my text. My number is 305-384-6894. Once you send me a text there, you will not only get the daily motivation text straight from me every morning that'll keep you focused, sharp, and on point, but also you can respond to any text that I send, and you will actually be texting directly with me. That the texting, even though many people tend to believe this, and I have to correct them when they say it to me in my text, that is not farmed out. There is no team that handles my text. There's no assistant that does that. That is not a bot that is responding to you. That literally is me. I do sit and go through my texts and respond to people's text messages every single day. I literally do take time to do that. So when you text me, that is me you are texting. So that number is down below again in the show notes, and you'll get that daily motivation only there. It's the only place you can get it. Now, the topic here today, why you don't need to work harder, even though I'm the work on your game guy telling you that you don't need to work harder. I want you to understand this is not a clickbait title. It's not a bait and switch subject. I really am going to tell you why there are times and spaces in which working harder is not going to be the answer to your challenges. I'm going to tell you why, and I'm going to also tell you, as I said, I'm going to give you some alternatives. I'm not just going to delete what you're doing now and then leave you to figure it out. I'm not going to leave you with a vacuum to fill. I'm going to create the vacuum, and I'm going to fill the vacuum for you, all in one place. This show, if you didn't know, this is kind of like a one-stop shop for taking your game where it needs to go, or at least so you know how to take your game where it needs to go. Now, if you want some help in doing it, then I'll tell you about that later. First of all, let's get into these points. Point number one, topic once again, is why you don't need to work harder. Number one, if this is just a hypothesis I'm gonna put out there for you, then I'm gonna address the hypothesis. But if hard work was the key to success, as many of you may have come into today's episode believing, as many of you may live your life as if that is what you believe to be true, and I'm not saying hard work does not matter. I work hard myself, and I'm sure many of you do as well, and you should continue to, but keep listening. If you believe that hard work is the key to success, or if hard work was the key to success, as our school teachers, our parents, our coaches, as, I don't know, some motivational speaker you saw on Facebook, whoever told you, and we've been told our whole lives, right? Work hard, go to school, work hard, get good grades, work hard, be better in sports, work hard, do your business, work hard, do your job, work hard. Anytime anything's not working right in life, nobody cares, work harder, right? Isn't that a slogan that people have on t-shirts and stuff? Nobody cares, work harder. If hard work was the key to success, here's my question. Then wouldn't the maintenance man and the janitors at any kind of building, or the guy who cleans the bathrooms, or the person who cleans up the oil spills on the road, or the people who chop down trees, or if you ever ride on the highway and you see the people picking up trash on the side of the road, wouldn't those individuals be very comparative in income to people like Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos and people who work in those big high-rise buildings with all the glass on them, and you wonder how you can even get upstairs in one of those buildings because they got the front desk people to block you from getting anywhere? Wouldn't the maintenance man and the custodians and the janitors and the ditch diggers, wouldn't those individuals be at least competitive in income to the Bill Gateses and the Jeff Bezoses and the Sergey and Larry, the guys over at Google, and the Mark Zuckerbergs? Wouldn't they at least be close? Wouldn't they be close to the professional athletes and the movie stars and the whoever else you know of, wealth managers who make a whole lot of money and they're publicly noted for making money? Why aren't they close in revenue and income and salaries if hard work was the key to success. Now, this question is all assuming that we're equating success to how much money you make. And if you live in the Western world, whether you personally attribute it or not, this is the way that many people in the Western world look at it. This is the common idea in the Western world, is that success is, at least part of the picture of success for us is, and when I say us, I mean just the people who live in the Western world, is how much money we make. What material possessions do we have compared to everybody else? Now, whether you agree with this personally or not is not what I'm saying. I'm saying this is the way that society looks at things. I think we can all agree if you've grown up in this society. Now, here's the question again. If hard work is the key to that success, at least part of that success being money, why aren't the maintenance men and the janitors similar in revenue to these other guys who we know of, who are publicly noted for how much money they have or how much money they make? Why is this? Why is there such a disparity between the two? Why is there a big gap? If hard work is the key, right? Hard work will make you more money, right? So why isn't hard work making these people the same kind of money? Isn't this an interesting question? For some of you have already addressed this question, and you kind of know where I'm going with this, maybe. Many of you have never even thought about this, and you have lived your entire life, the whole 19 years or 27 years or 32 years, believing that to create more success in your life, you just need to work harder. I mean, every day I get text messages from people who say, Dre, my biggest challenge is I want to be more consistent in my effort. I want to be more motivated so I can work hard. I want to show up more often so that I can put in more hard work. Or, Dre, I know what I need to do and I know where I need to go. I just need to keep working so that I can get to that outcome. And sometimes I will even encourage someone to keep working depending on what they tell me that they're doing. So we have all been conditioned to believe more work equals more success. And for some of us, that is indeed the equation. Now, again, let me get through all of my points here so you understand exactly what I'm saying. Don't take anything out of context. But first of all, we just got to knock down the big belief, false belief that many people have grown up to believe, or grown up to be indoctrinated with, is that hard work alone is going to create success, whatever you call success. But since we know that this is not actually happening just by this raw example that I'm giving you here, I mean, we think about it, the maintenance man and the janitor probably work the same number of hours that a Bill Gates or a Jeff Bezos work. Bill Gates is the Windows guy, Jeff Bezos, the Amazon guy, by the way, for those of you who don't know, if you don't know those names. They work pretty similar hours. The maintenance guy probably works more hours than these guys. Their work is probably a whole lot harder. It's probably more physically demanding. But here's the truth. Those guys, the Bill Gateses and the Jeff Bezoses, probably make 100 times, 1,000 times, 10,000 times more money than the maintenance man and the janitor. Now, are they working 1,000 times more hours? No, it's probably not even mathematically impossible for anybody to work 1,000 times more hours than someone who's working full time. So why are they making so much more? Here's the truth that I'll tell you about myself. I personally make more money and create more success doing things that come easy to me than I make doing things that come hard to me. Let me say that again. And as I get through this, when I get through all my points, you'll understand how all these pieces go together. Just keep in mind everything I'm saying. Even better, take notes. I make more money and create more success. However you would define that word success, I'll probably concur. Doing things that come easy to me, and again, easy is relative, than I make doing things that are hard for me. In other words, the easy stuff that I do makes me more money than the hard stuff that I do. Doesn't mean I don't do any hard stuff, but the hard stuff does not make me the same return on investment that the easy stuff does. And when I say easy, again, it's relative. Easy meaning things that are in my wheelhouse, things that I'm really good at, things that I'm capable of doing. Stuff that is outside of my wheelhouse, outside of my comfort zone, that I have to really push myself to get done, those do not make me the same kind of money that the easy stuff does. I personally I've completed 2 marathons, 2 Miami marathons. As a matter of fact, from when I'm recording this, Miami marathon's happening in a couple of days. I'm not doing it this year. They were hard to do. The marathon was very hard to do. I did it twice. It was hard both times. The first time it was cold as hell and my body started cramping up probably halfway through the race. The second time it was not cold, but my body still started cramping up about halfway through the race. But guess what? I finished both marathons. Congrats to me. But I did not get paid a single dime for finishing either one of those marathons. No money whatsoever. It cost me money to run those marathons. This show that you're listening to right now, my voice, is infinitely easier for me to do than it was for me to run those marathons. That's an absolute fact. But let me tell you something about this show. and the listeners who I attract, who then go deeper into my world, I make a lot more money from doing this show than I will ever make from running a marathon. Even though doing this show is a lot easier. Sitting here talking to you, like if you're watching this on video, you see me just sitting here casually talking to you, this is a lot easier than running those marathons. But I make more money doing this than I will ever make running a marathon. And again, these are raw examples. I can give you 100 more examples from my own life. I can give you a bunch of examples from your life if I got to know you better. I guarantee you the stuff that comes easy to you makes you more money than the stuff that comes hard to you. And again, this is not to say don't do things that are hard. It is not to say only do things that are in your comfort zone. Let me get the rest of my points off here. Just keep these points in mind while I give you the rest of the context. Point number 2. Today's topic, once again, is why you do not need to work harder, at least not to solve your problems. Point number 2, successful people. Again, you come up with your own definition of what success means. You should have a definition, because if you're going after success, you better know what you're going for. You don't want to be going for something, don't even know what it is. Successful people reach success, and then they tell you to do things that are elements of their success but are not the reason for their success. This is one of the challenges that I have with people who become publicly noted for their success. I'm talking like name brand famous people, like people who are on TV, people who if they walk through the mall, everybody will know who they are. I guess I got a little bit of a brand. I have a brand. I'm not name brand famous. I can walk through the mall by myself, and for the most part, nobody's gonna know who I am. I'm talking about people they're on TV and they have PR companies and their faces are on billboards. Those kind of people who are name brand famous that even people who don't follow their industry know who they are. Like there are basketball players who, those of you who don't even watch basketball know who they are. That kind of famous. Those people, many of them do you all a disservice. They're not doing me a disservice because I can see through their bullshit, or what they think is they think they're giving you substance, but it's actually bullshit. Many of them don't even know that they're giving you bullshit. I think some of them do know. And why, we'll probably never find out. But anyway, many of these people create success for themselves, and then when they are asked to tell the world, people like me and you, how they created success, what they will share with you are things that were elements of their success. They're not lying to you. They tell you things that were elements of their success, but they do not tell you the things that were the reason for their success. In other words, you will hear from some famous athlete who has made a whole lot of money playing their sport, created a whole lot of success even in the sport, created financial stability for themselves, made money for themselves and their families and all that stuff. And they're known for it and everybody celebrates them because they're a great athlete. Then somebody asks them, how'd you create your success? And what would they say? We all know what they all said. Hard work, dedication, showing up, working hard, believing in myself, discipline, mental toughness, showing up every day, being the first one there, the last one to leave. And listen, these are things that I talk about myself in different material. I've talked about them on this show. I talk about them in my books. These are elements of success. Do not get it twisted. These are elements in success. However, to create success, there's a hierarchy of elements that create success in anybody's life, in any industry, in anything that you do. The main reasons are usually not those elements. Hard work is not the reason that someone becomes successful, especially when we're talking about anything that involves money, which means you're at the professional level, you're getting paid for the thing that you do, because everybody at the professional level has to work hard in order to even be a professional. And everybody pretty much has to have at least a baseline level of skill, talent, and know-how in order to even be at the professional level, let alone to thrive at the professional level. So what happens is you get a bunch of these people, and actually let me back up. The reason why many of these successful people give you information that is inaccurate about how to become successful is not because they are trying to deceive you. It's not because they're trying to keep you down at the bottom of the ladder while they stay at the top and take out everything for themselves. It's because many of them are just incapable of explaining their success while they are very capable of creating it. You see, the ability to do a thing and ability to explain a thing are two distinct skills. And there are some people out there, some of you who are listening to this right now, who can do both. You can do a thing really well, and if, let's say I walked into your place of work and I said, all right, show me how to do this, as long as I had some baseline knowledge, you could pretty much explain to me to do about 80% of that job with enough time. You could give me up to about 80% of your competence level. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to be as good as you, but I can at least understand 80% of what you know without too much specialized information. And I can do the same thing for you. But there are many people out there who created success and they understand they can do 100% of it, but they couldn't explain 10% of it. because they just don't have the ability to explain it. Not because there's anything wrong with them. They're not doing anything wrong. It's just that not everybody has the ability to explain things the same way they had the ability to do things. This is why many great athletes can't become great coaches or trainers, simply because they can do something, but they can't explain it to another person. The skill of teaching and the skill of doing are two different things. This is why you have many great coaches and trainers in the sports world, for example, who were not that great of a player. Many of them, you never even heard of them until they became a trainer or a coach, right? Where did he play? You don't even know. Never heard of the guy until he became this famous coach or this famous trainer. Do you think that's a coincidence? It's not a coincidence. And I'm just using sports as an example here. The reason is, again, these are two distinct skills. And every once in a while, you're going to run into an individual, somebody like myself, and I say so humbly, who has the ability to not only do a thing, but also explain it to other people and break it down in a way that anybody can understand it and apply it. And that's why I'm here on this mic. So what happens is when you get too many people, and actually, let me back up again, the unfortunate, inconvenient truth is there are more people who have created success who cannot explain it than there are people who have created success who can explain it. So since all of them get to talk, because they all get a platform and a microphone, when you create success, people just want to hear you talk, even if what you're saying makes no sense whatsoever. But nobody's going to call you on it because they don't have your success. So what are they going to say to you? What ends up happening because of this phenomenon is we get a bunch of confused people. That's the subjects who are listening to this bullshit from these people who don't know what they're talking about, who can't explain what they're talking about. Actually, they know what they're talking about, but they can't explain it. So it sounds like they don't know. You get a bunch of confused people who are focusing on the wrong things, and focusing on those wrong things leads to undesirable outcomes. In other words, focusing on, let me just work hard, because that's what I heard Kobe Bryant say in some motivational video on YouTube. And you just keep working hard. The challenge is you don't have the other elements in place that Kobe had that made him successful. Yes, he did work hard, but without those other elements, his hard work would have led him into a brick wall the same way your hard work is leading you into a brick wall. The thing is, Kobe couldn't explain what the element was that that turned his hard work into success. It wasn't just hard work, because how many basketball players in history have worked hard? A whole bunch of them. How many of them became Kobe? Only one. So if you really think about it on a really analytical level, you will understand that so many of the things that quote unquote successful people tell you about how to become successful is not accurate information. And again, they're not doing it on purpose. Don't be mad at them. It's just you have to be more discerning in deciding who you're listening to. And you have to be better in deciphering, does this person actually understand what they do well and how and why, or are they just telling you things that sound good? Unfortunately, most people are the latter. So exhibit A, as I've already beat up this point, is hard work. This is exhibit A of elements that lead to success, quote unquote, elements that lead to success that people are always telling you about, that you have to work hard. Now, here's the tricky part about hard work. It is required. If you're going to be a professional, you're going to be good, you're going to be consistent, you're going to be at a high level at anything, you must work hard. All right, everybody I know, anyone who's in any of my coaching programs or mastermind programs, people who read my books, people who I know of, people who are colleagues, people who are peers, me, myself, we all work hard. So hard work is an element of success. Is it a part of success? Yes, it is. Did everybody hear me? Good. Is hard work the reason for my success? No, it is not. Hard work is not the reason for my success. There are people out there who have podcasts who are trying to get them off the ground and get people to listen to their show, and they work really hard, just as hard as I do, maybe even harder, and trying to get their podcasts out there for people to listen to, but they still can't get anybody to listen to their show. So is it hard work? No, they're already working hard. Again, I believe that they're working hard. You might even be able to find them working hard. Might be some of you who are listening to me right now. The reason is insight. The thing that allows someone to, at least those who can explain it, to take their hard work and turn it into real success is insight. What does insight mean? Here, I'll give you the short answer to what insight is. And I talked about insight in episode, I believe it was episode 1177, but let me get you the exact number so that you can go listen to it yourself. I was right. Episode 1177 is insight. The key to going from 1x to 10x. What does insight mean? In short, it means pushing the buttons that produce 10x returns while everybody else is getting 1x returns via hard work. See, when you are just working hard, you get 1x returns. One element of hard work, one element of results. One element of hard work, two elements of hard work, two results. Three elements, three results, so forth and so on. This is how many people live their lives. They want to get 50 more elements of results. So what do? They put in 50 elements of hard work. The problem with this is that you will run yourself into the ground eventually, or you will just literally work yourself to death, because you'll keep working, trying to keep adding, and eventually you're going to run out of time. All of us are on the clock on the same level, and eventually all of us are going to die. Given current science, all of us are going to die at some point. So if all you're doing is adding one element of work to one element of results, eventually you're going to run out of time, and you're still working. What insightful people do, on the other hand, is while they are working hard, they combine that hard work with insight, and instead of adding, their work is multiplying when it comes to results. So they put in one element of work, they get 10 elements of results back. 20 elements of work, 200 elements of results back. You see how that works? So instead of adding, they're multiplying. They're both working hard, but one is working hard with insight, the other is just working hard blindly. And this is what many people do. They just go work hard blindly because they only get this little aspect of what creates success from people, again, who are bad at explaining it. You listened to the wrong person. It wasn't your fault. You didn't know what you didn't know, but you still had to take responsibility for this. You listened to a person who didn't know how to explain it, and now you're following their advice, or at least their snippet of advice that they thought was good advice, because to them it worked. All right, a lot of times people create success and don't even know why they became successful. Therefore, they can't deconstruct it. Therefore, they're unqualified to teach other people how to do it. But unfortunately, they get microphones stuffed in their face and get asked to tell people how to be successful anyway, even though they don't even know how to explain it. All right, this is the challenge. So hopefully some of you get the insight based on what I just said to start being a little more discerning with who you are listening to, so that you can notice when someone doesn't really know how to explain their success, even though they are indeed a very successful individual. This is just this is a communication skill, honestly, is what it is. It's an ability to break down and analyze what you did to become successful, and then being able to explain it to another person who does not have your talent or knowledge or experience. Can they still understand you? That's a question. And for many people, the answer is just no. Successful people, many of them, the answer is just no. They can't explain themselves, but they insist on trying anyway. So this is your job to note who they are and not pay attention to them. Not because they're trying to hurt you, but they will hurt you even though they're not trying to. So when you figure out insight, how to multiply your efforts, how to take your efforts and multiply the ROI based on the efforts, is a better way of saying it. When you figure this out, you create more success with less effort. The hard work comes in only after you've figured out which buttons to press. You hear what I just said? The hard work comes in only after you figure out which buttons to press. Now, you might work hard to figure out the buttons, but once you figure out which buttons to press, then you press on the gas pedal, then you put in all the hard work, then you put in all the time. So for example, do I feel like sometimes I work hard in recording the show? Yes. The thing is though, doing this is something that's in my wheelhouse of skills. And at the same time, I know the ROI that I'm going to get from it. So considering the ROI and the amount of effort I have to put in, is it really hard work? Relatively speaking, no, it's not. Now, if I wasn't getting the ROI, would this be a lot of hard work? Yes, even with the exact same effort, because I'm just comparing the ROI to what I'm getting back. So if I know I'm getting 100 units of ROI, the ROI stands for return on investment, by the way. If I know I'm getting 100 units of ROI, it's okay for me to put in 50 units of hard work because I know I'm multiplying. Actually, I probably want to put in fewer and get a higher return. But I think you follow the math here. I want to multiply. The hard work only comes in when you know what to work hard on. Then you start multiplying instead of adding. Many people just work hard, and all they're doing is adding. And because they're adding and getting, every time they put in work, they get a little bit of result. They put in work, get some result, put in work, get some result. They might look at that and say, okay, well, look, when I work hard, I get this result. I don't need to change anything. Why not just keep doing the same thing that I'm doing? The challenge is, again, you will run out of time at some point. That's one challenge. Another challenge is you could be getting a much higher return on investment for your efforts if you had the insight to ask yourself the right questions. That's why it's so important to understand what insight is about. And that's why I told you episode 1177, you should go listen to it. If you have not listened to that episode before, even if you did, we're talking 1,000 days ago. So you probably forgot 99.9% of everything I said, even if you were listening when that episode came out. So I would suggest you listen to it again. Point number 3. Today's topic, once again, is why you do not need to work harder. Here's the challenge. Another challenge. I'll share a lot of them today. We've all been indoctrinated with the belief that in the time period between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m., again, at least in the Western world, We should all be grinding, hustling, and giving maximum effort, or else we are selling ourselves short and not, quote unquote, being productive. How many of you has ever said that to yourselves? I know some of you should be nodding your head because some of you have said it to me, that you feel like you're not, being productive, or you're not being productive enough, or you want to be more productive, you want to be more consistent. Those are all forms of the exact same thing. You just are looking for more productivity because you have been indoctrinated to believe that between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. you should be working hard and hustling and grinding and doing something that is going to produce some kind of result, even if it's not the ideal outcome. You've just been indoctrinated to believe this. We all have. This is what we call 1X thinking. And 1X thinking does work, by the way. Okay, 1X thinking does work if your goal is to create success via addition. Again, 2 elements of work, 2 elements of results. If you just want to go one by one, tit for tat, when it comes to your effort and results, you can just think like a 1X person. You need to work hard all the time so you can get the results all the time. Now, you can do that. The alternative is multiplication. Multiplication has a higher return on investment on the exact same level of effort. So yes, you still do the work, but the returns are so much higher that it doesn't feel like hard work anymore because you know what you're getting back in exchange. Look at a calculator. Everybody knows what a calculator is. Even if you look at the calculator app on your phone, and I was just using mine today. The last time I checked, it takes the same amount of effort to tap the multiplication sign as it takes to tap the addition sign on a calculator. You just have to move your fingers and tap the key. The amount of effort is exactly the same, but the results completely different. Everybody understand? Point number 4. Today's topic, once again, is why you do not need to work harder. Let me tell you what to do instead of working harder. You need to think harder. If you could think harder, you would figure out how to take the same efforts that you're already giving, of which there is nothing wrong, and apply those efforts to something that will multiply instead of something that merely adds. So in order to figure this out, you need to think harder. And in order to think harder, you need to ask yourself better quality questions. Questions that will lead to insights and breakthroughs. How do you figure out questions that lead to insights and breakthroughs? Well, there are several ways. First of all, listen to episode 1177. Second of all, you need to talk to someone who looks at things differently from you, who can look at your situation and see some things and some possibilities and ask some questions that you otherwise will never see yourself because you are too close to the situation to see it from the 3,000-foot view. But any other human, at least a very insightful one, can see things that you don't see. That's your assignment to get more insight. Understand something, folks. The right set of questions will turn effort into much more return. Just the right question. And here's the funny thing about it. You don't even have to have the right answer to the question. Just the right question will produce more ROI than more effort. Understand that asking the right question is more important than having the right answer. I talked about this in episode 1741. If you haven't listened, it is linked down below. Asking the right question is more important than having the right answer. It's more important than having any answer, as a matter of fact. It can even be the wrong answer. The right question is more important than the answers. Most of us never realize this idea, this concept, because we spend so much of our time doing what? Working hard and then getting ready to work hard again. Right? You work hard all day, come home, and then what do? You spend that time after work getting ready to go to bed so you can wake up and work hard again the next day. You never actually give yourself thinking time. Well, you listen to this show, so I am assigning you the role, the job of giving yourself thinking time so you can get these breakthroughs and insights. You got to spend time sharpening the sword of your thinking so that you can take the effort that you're already giving, because you're listening to a show called Work on Your Game, so I assume you understand the concept of effort, and turn it into more returns. And I'm telling you a way that you can even shortcut even that in one moment. But first of all, let's recap today's class, which is why you don't need to work harder. Point number 1, if hard work was the key to success, then the maintenance man and the custodian would make the same amount as the Amazon guy and the PC guy and the Google guys and the Facebook guys. But they don't, even though their hours are similar. The maintenance guy probably works more and probably does more back-breaking labor. Here's the truth. I personally make more money and create more success doing things that are easy to me than doing things that are hard for me. I did the marathon twice. It was hard. Didn't get paid for it. I do this show every day. This is not hard for me, but I make a lot more money from doing this show than I make from running those marathons. Why is this? Because, point number 2, Successful people, many successful people, not me, but many successful people reach success, then tell you to do things that are elements of success, but are not the actual reason for their success, because they do not understand, they can't break down their own success. There are many people who are good at doing, but not good at explaining. And some people are great at explaining, but they're not good at doing. And every once in a while, you run into a Dre Baldwin or someone similar to me who can do it and they can explain it to another person. The key is insights. Pushing buttons that produce 10x returns instead of doing things that get you 1x returns via hard work. When you figure out this equation for yourself, you will create more success with less effort. The hard work comes in only after you have figured out which buttons to press. Then you are now multiplying your efforts instead of adding. Point number 3. The challenge is we've all been indoctrinated to believe we should be working all the time, grinding, hustling, giving maximum effort so that we can quote unquote be productive. But you look at a calculator, doesn't it take the same amount of energy to tap the multiplication sign as it takes to tap the addition sign? Yes? Okay, so all you need is to ask yourself the right question. Ask yourself the right question, put in the same effort as before, you can get a completely different result, which is a much higher result. And number 4, what do you do instead of more work? Start asking yourself better questions. You don't want more effort, you need more insight. You got to give yourself think time to sharpen the mental sword, thinking about how can I take these efforts and multiply them? How can I get a higher return investment? And let me tell you, the shortcut to doing this is not you just sitting there and hoping that the idea falls out of the sky and hits you in the head like Chicken Little. The idea is to go find someone or someones who already understand these insights, who can look at what you're doing and give you the insights and give you the right questions to ask yourself so that you don't have to try to figure it out all on your own, because you might run out of time doing that as well. So first of all, if you are a type of person who's looking to make those insights, get those ideas, get those key ideas and those breakthroughs that will help move you to your next level in your business, and take the same efforts you're already giving, apply them in a different way and get a higher return on investment, and I think that's you, then you need to go to workonyourgameuniversity.com, see the ways that you can work with me directly, whether it is in group, whether it's one-on-one, so that we can get those insights and you can start applying the insights and actually get a higher return on investment from the work that you are already doing. And secondly, for everybody who's listening, even those of you who aren't ready to go to the next level, text me at 305-384-6894 to get my daily motivation text free of charge every single day, straight to your phone. Work on your game university is workonyourgameuniversity.com. That's workonyourgameuniversity, all spelled out, .com. Work on your game. Dre all day.